Oh yeah, boy. Welcome everyone back into Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, bringing you the latest and the greatest cryptocurrency information to make sure you make the best decision for yourself. It is January 26, 2023, and boy, do I have a lot, and girl, and whatever you want to be. We have a lot of news to go ahead and get through today. So sit back, grab yourself a beverage or a nice snack, whatever your preference is, because we are about to get into it. Thank you so much, of course, to those of you who tune in live. Thanks for showing up, Dreamcatcher. Thank you to the Patreon supporters and the YouTube sponsors who keep me coming back, making these videos for you guys. It's really nice to be here. I missed you yesterday, but we're going to get back into it, and yeah, like I said, it's quite a bit. So let's start off as we do with the prices, and I'm going to try to be expedient somewhat with the news since there is so much to cover. But remember, always dig a little bit deeper and always fact check the sources is what I mean by that. Don't invest based off anything you hear here. Always question what you hear. So here we have Bitcoin up 1.1%, up 11.7% over the last 7 days, currently at 23,144. It wants to stay around 23,000 currently as it gets ready for its push back up to $23,500. If it breaches that, then I guess it's anybody's guess where it goes next, but likely 23,500 will become the new support level. It hasn't wanted to draw down. So many bears are in disbelief, absolutely stunned by the longest crap of all time. I mean, every day that passes seems less and less likely that the price is going to drop drastically back down and maybe even below $20,000. So you should definitely feel some confidence there with what's happening. Anyway, you have Ethereum up 2%, one of the biggest gainers on the day here. You can see Polygon Matic up 12.2%. It had a really nice run today, up to $1.10. So the golden cross does seem to be approaching here for Bitcoin. It's something that has come at the beginning of prior bull markets. And I mean, this chart doesn't go further back than this cycle here in this most previous cycle, I guess you could call it, here in 2019 that got kicked off. But It has happened before. It has happened many times before where the 50-day moving average crosses over the 200-day moving average crosses over the 50-day moving average. No, I have it backwards there. You get what I'm going at. Anyway, the 50-day moving average crossing over the 200-day moving average, turning things more bullish, and just a sign that we could be headed for some really big gains that take us into the new bull market. This is something really positive that's happening with the price action actually for the Bitcoin rainbow chart. So the Bitcoin rainbow chart has been around for some time, and in the bottom of the bear market, you might remember that I was making videos talking about the price just being decimated and how the rainbow chart that has played out quite well over the years seemed to finally be coming to an end, as it was dropping actually slightly below the lower bound of the Bitcoin rainbow price chart. It's supposed to hit that purple area at the bottom and then bounce up from there and then take us perhaps into bubble territory at the top, which would be in the red, take us through all the beautiful colors of the rainbow, and maybe even breach it like you saw here 2013, 2014, and then begin coming down from there. But it seemed like the rainbow chart was going to have to be expanded or something because it had dipped slightly below that, but it didn't seem to be very long lasting, and the rainbow chart seems to in fact be making quite the comeback here as the price has bounced up out of the purple territory. So I had read at least one comment there on Twitter where somebody said they were going to paint their nails purple in celebration of this. And looking at the Bitcoin rainbow price chart, which is basically an arc that actually flattens out a little bit over time, we were expecting to hit, if we got back into the red during this last cycle, $100,000 Bitcoin. Now, that did not happen, so people began to feel less confident overall with the Bitcoin rainbow price chart, but that has carried over into the bear market. Since we didn't hit that red area and then we dipped slightly below the purple area, it seemed to be for some people the case that this was just dead. And of course, this is on a logarithmic scale, so it's not linear prices. But perhaps it would have to change somewhat, or maybe it was completely wrong. But since it's now bounced off of the purple, I guess we'll have to see what happens once we get this bounce here. If we do go back into bubble territory, back into the red. And if it does manage to do that as it has done before, that would take us into the $500,000 Bitcoin territory, if not beyond that. But if we are to taper our expectations, it looks like we could be seeing at least the $100,000 Bitcoin level that we were expecting previously, which would be like, 4x, somewhere between a 4 or 5x from where we are at right now. So not too bad. Yeah, the shape of the rainbow. It actually hasn't changed this one, but it might be changed. Something else that is quite bullish is based off of a trader that I really respect who's followed Bitcoin quite closely, and that's Eric Brown. He's been doing a lot of technical analysis for Bitcoin primarily, and he is someone I had on the show previously on my old show. He is also seemingly becoming a little bit more bullish, which is something I hadn't really seen during the entire bear market. I was waiting to see his own attitudes change, and this is based off his own indications, which is based on stochastic analysis and also the RSI, so relative strength indicator. And it is using Crown's own Joule indicator. So his Joule indicator is pointing to a cross right here that seems to be taking place. As it says here, Hourglass had pointed out on Twitter, checking out Crown Crypto Cave's Joule indicator. Looks like we've officially crossed on the 1 week. Well, not officially actually, because it still needs to close this week in about 4 days, representing momentum. This is a very powerful signal according to history. What a way to start 2023 LFG. So in response to this, Crown himself wrote, keep in mind, this will take a long time to play out and there will be pullbacks along the way, but so far, so good. So he does seem confident in his own indicator and in saying that this is going to take a long time to play out. In other words, for it to climb from the depths that we're seeing here with the strength all the way into the highs that take us above an 80 here. So potentially, again, prices that could see Bitcoin over $100,000. So stay tuned, guys. It would be a fun ride. And thank you for joining me here. But we were here at the bottom potentially yet again. Thanks, Ozzy, for being a part of it here with me. Would be nice to see that change, of course, and continue to actually rather the change has happened in the direction that we are going. So when did you first ignore Bitcoin? Just a funny meme here. 2011, 2013, 2017, 2021. There's something to be said here when I was looking at this meme here. When did I first ignore Bitcoin? I don't think it would be 2011. Probably didn't even hear about Bitcoin in 2011. I was not on a cryptographic mailing list, which is pretty much like hackers, people deep into the deep web, the builders of this kind of stuff, who might have heard about it back then. But the majority of people were not exposed to it in any sort of significant way, I would say, beyond that. People just experimenting with it. Really speculative value, if you want to talk about speculation at that point. It wasn't even being traded on exchanges. So it was just basically handed out for free, Bitcoin, back in the days. Anyway, 2013, I might have first heard about it, but that's probably when I first ignored Bitcoin. So I'll have to hit the B button here. And that's when it started to be shared more, when Mt. Gox was around and people could actively trade this thing. But I probably ignored it as some other form of money. I wasn't deep into thinking about economics or money or why an alternative might be necessary to fiat currency. So I had just graduated college at the time, and I assume I probably saw it somewhere as like a payment option, if anything. And it just like, why would I want to use that versus the other means that I already have available to me? I don't see the point, kind of thing. Then I finally paid attention to it in 2015, because by that point I was really deep into understanding the global financial conspiracy of the world which I think really needed to change. So then I first started investing, eventually thinking about how to protect wealth, then thinking about Bitcoin down the road from there. So I don't know, when did you guys first ignore Bitcoin? Interesting question there. But to me, I mean, the fact that it's not just one choice here, that there are different choices. You could have ignored it in 2017. You could have ignored it in 2021. Whether it's Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies at this point, I think is irrelevant, because eventually all roads lead back to Bitcoin and finding out about Ethereum, of course. But I'm being facetious. But anyway, yeah, there's something to be said there. I think there's some sort of evolution that happens in regards to people's mentalities and finding out about Bitcoin. And I think a lot of that has to do with understanding the problems with the current monetary system. There is a global awakeness happening. I hate to talk about awakening now, woke culture and all that has kind of ruined it. But yeah, I think there is a conscious movement about the understanding of the financial system that began in 2008 and slowly spreading throughout the world, that eventually leads back to Bitcoin, the solution that was created for that first. And I think that's what will be driving a huge amount of humanity to put a lot more faith and trust into this system as we go forward. And it's still early days, in my opinion. You ignored it in 2009. Hell, Marie, that's right. We all ignored it in 2009, but we just weren't aware of it. That's cool, Ozzy, 2009. Damn, a lot of people. You guys beat me out here. Anyway, Binance acknowledges storing user funds with collateral in error. So this was posted by Bloomberg, actually. It came out the exchange was, in fact, intermingling funds. So they have their own blockchain, right? The Binance blockchain, and it's not interactable with so many other blockchains. So what they do is they create these B tokens. These B tokens represent value held in another blockchain's crypto asset, and they're supposed to be held one for one. So they have like Binance MakerDAO and Binance this and Binance Bitcoin and Binance that. And it turns out that many of these different Binance tokens were being held in the same wallet called Binance 8 as user funds, which was making it really difficult for them to provide proper proof of transparency or whatever on their website, because some of the coins seem to be over collateralized. They had way more in reserve for those B tokens than they did for other tokens. So what was going on here? Very likely they were mingling user funds that were deposited on the exchange with these reserve funds, and that has basically been confirmed to be the case. Binance has responded that they're going to be fixing this, as they said here, according to a representative from Binance to Bloomberg. Binance is aware of this mistake and is in the process of transferring these assets to dedicated collateral wallets. But it's good that more people are becoming on-chain literate here, and they're able to call these things out. You want to talk about intermingling funds? Big problem in crypto that has come to the forefront of attention in people's minds after what's gone down with all these scandals, FTX and everything on. But yeah, there's a lot more details in this article. And after this video, I will definitely share in the description below links to as many sources as I can, as I used to do, so you guys can check it out for yourself if you'd like to do that. Anyway, Tesla, maybe this is part of the bullishness that has started. Tesla did not buy or sell any Bitcoin in the fourth quarter, according to their new earnings report. So they had a value in the third quarter of their Bitcoin holdings, as they did add Bitcoin to their treasury, to their balance sheet, of $218 million at the end of the third quarter, but it was down to $184 million in the fourth quarter, as Bitcoin had fallen to around $16,500. Of course, it's had a bounce from there, so it's no longer the case, but it is interesting to see they sold quite a bit back in the second quarter, but no longer wish to do that in the third quarter, where they didn't sell any Bitcoin, and then again in the fourth quarter. I believe in the first quarter they also sold quite a lot, but it says here, according to CoinDesk, in the second quarter, the company sold $936 million worth of Bitcoin, or approximately 75% of their holdings in the middle of that bear market, in order to raise cash due to uncertainty over COVID-19 lockdowns, it said here. But Elon Musk had said at the time that the company was open to increasing its BTC exposure in the future, and that the sale back then should not be taken as some verdict on Bitcoin. So the company could potentially add even more Bitcoin to their holding despite that move that they had to do. So the fact that they have not sold for 2 quarters and may in fact start buying again at some point, in my opinion, is quite bullish and could potentially invite more companies to do the same, like we saw in the last bull market. Tesla, MicroStrategy, and so many other companies finally becoming keen in adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets. Then we saw entire countries, El Salvador, adopting Bitcoin, and I think that will be the continued progression that we will see likely into the next bull market and beyond. It was really cool actually looking through their earnings report, and they have a bunch of pictures, which is really what I found fascinating. Look at all these robots that they're utilizing, probably more than any other auto manufacturer, and of course in history. So really forward thinking here. Look at this huge gigafactory in Nevada that it says expansion plan, so I guess they're going to make it bigger. There's one actually down the road in Austin, Texas here that looks exactly like this size. It's massive. And then look at these Cheetos trucks that they're going to begin rolling out. So we'll probably be seeing more Tesla semis on the highways soon. I haven't seen any myself personally. Have you guys? Interested to hear about that, or is this some sort of like prototype for what's going to be coming? But definitely it looks like Frito-Lay is going to be having these things on the road. Fascinating. So Tiffany Fong, crypto influencer, has shared her this on Substack. So she shared a list of the bids that had been put forward to try to buy up Celsius Networks assets. So Celsius went bankrupt, and there were a bunch of different entities who were vying for the crypto that was still on there, that might have value, might not have value, maybe a bid for some of the customers, maybe onboarding them onto a different exchange and giving them an account there. So she announced that basically it looks like some of this bidding process has come to an end, as the company does seem like they're more likely going to go forward with a restructuring plan to offer some sort of bankruptcy token. I don't know if that's actually what's going to be happening, but that's what came out in the courts and we discussed here on the show. But basically, she wrote here 2 hours ago that since it does seem that the bidding is coming to an end, she is finally going to be disclosing some of this that she became privy to, a document that was detailing the bids. So this might be a value to you. So you can see some of the names, big names here that were making a bid for Celsius assets included Binance, Bank to the Future, which we knew about those two, but some of these are a little bit more private. Nova Wolf, Cumberland, DRW, and Galaxy Digital, billionaire Mike Novogratz, founding company there. So you can see the terms that would be here for these different companies, what they would be acquiring, what they would be excluding. For example, Binance didn't want to touch any FTT tokens, any Cell tokens, any real shit coins, right? And other things. And you can go down this. I will again put a link down below if you want to check out what it was going to be like if Bank to the Future had gotten access to these assets. They would have offered equity management, for example, or like retirement for some sort of fee. You can see just plenty more details here. And is this right or wrong? Oh, this one would have been interesting. Just like what you're seeing come out with them wanting to issue their own new token, Celsius, that eventually might have some sort of value return to creditors. Nova Wolf had a very similar sort of proposal as well to do the same. Transferring everything basically to this new SEC compliant new co, 100% owned by creditors. Looked like an interesting plan there. Is this correct, what Tiffany Fong had shared? It does seem to be the case because Simon Dixon, founder of Bank to the Future, who was named there as one of those 5 entities, did share that information that Tiffany Fong had put out. So he's not denying it. To me, it goes to show that that is legitimate information. So look out for a link down below. Oh yeah, and she also went and did her own video here, Tiffany Fong, on YouTube talking about the different bids. So if you'd like more information, check that out for yourself. So this was leaked. It's not really leaked. It's public information. United States Bankruptcy Court, District of Delaware. It's a list of the creditors, those who had funds on FTX or were owed money by FTX. And we can check out this creditor matrix. It's massive. It's 615 pages of creditor after creditor after creditor, name after name. And some of the names in here would actually surprise you, or might surprise you, the amount of influence that FTX seemingly had here, because they had people's money. You can see names on here like Google, various states. Amazon just passed by there. You can see GameStop here as a creditor. And you can see all sorts of addresses and information that I think some of these might not want to be completely public. It might paint a target. It's like a huge honeypot saying this person might be rich or this entity might be rich. They might be worthy of robbing or finding out what their crypto wallets are like, or inserting phishing or malware into their electronics to get some sort of assets because they might have had quite a bit of money, or hit them with a $5 wrench attack. So a little bit scary, I think, this marriage of centralized crypto accounts, KYC, and bankruptcy, something that happened with Celsius as well. Many names being leaked. This was being called redacted, by the way. This is supposed to be some sort of redacted list of names, but and it is redacted, I guess you could say. You could see, it's supposed to be an unredacted list. I'm sorry, that has everything, but it actually is somewhat. Oh, Coinbase just passed by. Colorado Department of Revenue. Mostly it's a lot of different treasuries I can notice from different states as well that are on here. But yeah, it says name on file. You can see address on file. So it is seemingly redacted. Not every single individual is named here, which I do like to see. It's mostly bigger companies or bigger institutions that are named in this public docket that you can find now. But it has become a sort of meme because it's supposedly unredacted, but it is redacted. Unredacted creditors list, name on file. So they wrote name on file instead of just redacted everywhere. So you can see that depicted across these various memes that are being shared on Twitter at this time. Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. The same picture. Amazon is seemingly creating some sort of big NFT initiative, late to the party, but maybe not. Maybe this bull cycle will be started by Amazon. Maybe they'll be the new OpenSea here, the big name. According to unnamed sources, 4 sources familiar with the matter, they have told Blockworks that Amazon is getting ready perhaps in April to do some sort of big launch, or at least announce publicly some sort of big launch related to NFT. This is not going to be something that is specific to Amazon Web Services and that branch, but no, to the big Amazon itself. So you might see perhaps in the Amazon.com UI itself some sort of tab. This is NFTs. This seems to be related to gaming as well. Maybe partnering. It was originally supposed to be partnering with like an artist to launch some sort of NFT, but it's turned into a bigger movement according to these sources. It might be some sort of thing where you play crypto games and claim free NFTs in the process. But yeah, this effort is still in development, and that's why we won't be hearing it until at least April. It's not clear who's going to be leading it, but again, going to be running out of Amazon proper and not Amazon Web Services. So nice to see that. Amazon has had other forays somewhat into crypto or blockchain rather. For example, through AWS or Amazon Web Services with Ava Labs, the company behind Avalanche. They had done some stuff there to allow enterprises to spin up nodes and test them, but nothing really native, some sort of like crypto native product on behalf of themselves really just yet. So this could be something rolled out very soon. There is a lawsuit that is taking place. OpenSea, the biggest NFT marketplace, is being sued because there was an individual here named Robbie Akers who is upset. He had been robbed of an NFT that had a lot of value. He contacted OpenSea, and OpenSea locked his account against his express wishes that did not happen. He did not want his entire account locked. In fact, he wanted access back to his account, but his account remained closed for a very long time. This was after they already took 48 hours to respond to the theft, by which time the stolen assets, those NFTs that had been broken into the account, had been sold as the buyer significantly undervalued them in prioritizing pace over value. He basically got access to the account, immediately sold those NFTs, moved those crypto assets, and that's it. You can no longer get access to those funds again. But regardless, his account stayed locked, which created a problem because his assets were held ransom for over 3 months on OpenSea, the rest of them, despite repeated demands to unlock my assets. OpenSea required him to perjure himself, he wrote here with a statement, to unlock his account. So whether by intention or ineptitude, the lawsuit claims, OpenSea's action caused me significant financial loss as I am an active investor in the Web3 community. So this seems to be happening a lot, according to the lawyer, the attorney for Robbie here. It has happened to a lot of people. And this is something that we've been covering over periods where people get their accounts locked for having been linked to illicit activity or having been involved, whatever. Point is, OpenSea is a centralized exchange for NFTs, and they can therefore lock and unlock accounts at will. This has created all sorts of problems. There are issues, of course, because their code base is not open. It's not transparent with making sure that they are secure and a good place to do your trades. And there have been just numerous different issues with OpenSea here, which lead me to really want to see some sort of decentralized alternative be the main place that people can go to, because they wouldn't have to ask permission again to get access to their funds. But in the same, on the other token here, he perhaps might have had some assets protected here because the account was eventually locked by OpenSea, although it was locked rather late after 48 hours. And any sort of hacker or whoever got access to this account probably would have done a lot more, or could have done a lot more than they did if they had had 48 hours in order to get access to this account. But anyway, just an interesting thing to say, to point out here. Be careful. There are continued phishing accounts. If you're involved in crypto or have been over the last few years, likely someone knows your address, your phone number, and it's been shared on the deep web, your email address. And that means that you can have, and this happened with me, you might remember, some sort of attacker come out and run. They know your email address. They'll find one of your accounts, well, a website that you have an account with, financial institution, otherwise, and then run some sort of bot that will basically try millions of passwords per hour to get into there, and then get access to your account. So there's so many different ways that you can get hacked and phished, which is why it helps to have a hardware wallet. I have links to that down in the description below. It's one of the best ways to protect yourselves, the Ledger hardware wallet or whatever, but you have to definitely stay on top of your security somewhat in crypto. Anyway, this is something I encountered today, which is making me a little bit hungry, not gonna lie. McDonald's wrote, "What did I miss?" on Twitter. Binance crypto exchange responded, "A lot of green candles. It's been good times." McDonald's said, "Wag me." If you don't know what that means, that stands for "we are going to make it." It became very popular in the summer of DeFi about 2-3 years ago. It really blew up in in crypto land, and so Binance responded. Seems like someone at McDonald's is at least aware of cryptocurrency, at least a social media manager. This led to a lot of folks, this right here, becoming concerned. They said, "Oh no, it's all over. McDonald's paying attention to cryptocurrencies. Bad." I would say it's really not that bad. McDonald's gets tagged all the time, including in the bear market. So it's hard for them to not think about cryptocurrency every once in a while and stay hip with the latest jargon, because when crypto is down, it's all about, oh, gotta get a job again, gonna go work at McDonald's. And when we're in the middle of the bull market, it's all, oh, partnership. A Vcoin has partnered with McDonald's in Thailand. All these fake partnerships that really, they're not necessarily fake, but they do tend to amount to nothing. Oh, Misa Go and McDonald's. McDonald's is a part of crypto, whether they like it or not, but it seems they do like it. Anyway, thank you, Kyle, for the comment for the algo. It means a lot, man. Yeah, remember to always hit a like button, drop a comment down below, feed the algorithm. It gets hungry. And subscribe if you've yet to do so, if you want to know what is going on in cryptocurrency. That is as much as I could collect, but there's a lot more out there that I couldn't cover. Try to cover some of the main ones. For example, you have Coinbase being fined $3.5 million by Dutch authorities in the Netherlands, and plenty of other things that I'm not going to get into right now. But I will leave you with a quote of the day, which is by Claude Monet here, which is, "To see, we must forget the name of the thing we are looking at." I will leave you with that, something to think about, and wish you a great rest of your Thursday, or Friday, or Wednesday, depending where you're at. We international, baby. It's crypto. As Griff Green said, if you're out there watching, Griff Green had posted on Twitter yesterday, "We'll know that crypto has won when we're no longer thinking in terms of borders." Love that, man. He said something along those lines. Take care, everyone. Much love, and stay cryptic. Peace.